What's up? It's Crystal Rosas inside of our Z100 Artist Interview Lounge presented by Celsius. You've definitely seen her on your For You page, helping aspiring singers unlock their inner Beyonce with just 3 words. Raise your yaya with over 3.7 million followers on TikTok, almost 1 million on Instagram. Jodie Langel has become the internet's go-to vocal coach. Today, she's here to share her journey, her technique, and maybe even give us a little vocal lesson. We'll see. Please welcome back home, Jodie.
Hi.
It's so fun seeing you online and then seeing you here in person, and you radiate the same love, energy.
Thank you. I love to radiate love and energy. That is my MO.
And you're back home. You're here in New York. These are your roots.
These are my roots. I love being in New York. I love being here. The weather's cooperating, so I love it, love it, love it. I'm bringing a little Florida here because I'm from Florida. I'm from Boca Raton, so. But I'm a New York girl at heart. So,
well, you went to NYU.
Yeah, I did.
Wow, how was that experience? That's a dream for so many people.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I thought that I wanted to go to school away. So my freshman year, I actually went to Tulane University in New Orleans, but quickly realized that I wanted to be home. So I went to NYU, and my junior year of NYU, I auditioned for this show that you might have heard of called Les Miserables. And my junior year, I auditioned for the show, and then I found out I was going to be playing Cosette on Broadway. So one day I was in geometry class, and the next day I was starring in a Broadway show. So it was kind of like a Cinderella story. It doesn't always happen like that, but I was very lucky. I was in the right place at the right time, and I just had this tenacity to want to do this. So I was on a Broadway stage at a very young age, and I learned very quickly how to do this. So, I knew I would just like tunnel vision Broadway. And I learned how to use my voice very quickly.
Was music around your house when you were growing up, or did your family, was they into music?
Actually, no, my parents were very tone deaf. They were tone deaf. But I had an aunt who was a really great singer. So I think I just I had it, I knew, and I had it sort of like in my blood from my aunt.
Yeah.
And I sang in my bathtub, which is kind of like a lost art because I don't think any Gen Zs sing in their bathtub. So we all grow up now on TikTok and Instagram, which is why I think that I'm so helpful to young artists now, because they look to TikTok and they look to Instagram to learn how to sing. And that's why I think I've become so vital to Gen Zs for singing help, because I'm accessible to them on TikTok and Instagram, because I give those 90-second tips to people to learn how to sing.
Yes. And when you're growing up, did you take vocal lessons?
I did. I took vocal lessons. I had incredible teachers, and I was so lucky. I had a teacher at NYU. I had a teacher growing up. I had teachers all throughout growing up. So I was very, very lucky to have such incredible teachers and people who helped me along my journey.
Were you in theater in school too?
Yeah, I grew up in community theater. I grew up.
What shows did you do growing up?
Oh my gosh, I did Alice in Wonderland. I never got Annie in Annie though. So
you're like, that one hurts.
I was like, tomorrow, nobody will cast me. So I never got to play Annie. I didn't get it growing up. So I think that was part of my tenacity of I'm going to play this role. But I didn't get it growing up, but I played Alice in Wonderland. I played I played Anna in The King and I. So I grew up doing school musicals growing up. So that was a part of my, so I always tell students do your school musicals, because that will really, really help build the foundation for you to do this when you grow up.
And then why was New Orleans not the fit for you? New Orleans not the fit for you?
I just knew I wanted to be in New York City. I was just that person that was Broadway.
Yeah.
Broadway. That was me. So as soon as I was in school in New Orleans, I thought, I want to be back in Manhattan. And I always knew I wanted to do Les Mis. I was just I want to be in Les Miserables. I just knew that. I had tunnel vision and I knew. So nothing could stop me. I just had that vision that I wanted to be on Broadway. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. I just had that tenacity.
And then people must ask you when you're auditioning for Broadway shows, how do you stand out? How do you get a role like that?
I think that you have to know who you are. At a very young age, I knew who I was. Like, I knew I wanted this. I know who I am. I know I have this amazing voice, and I can play that role. And I think that that's so important. People ask me, like, what's your best advice? What is the biggest advice you can give you? Know who you are, know your worth, and don't change that. Like, I have this amazing voice and I am right for this. I think that's the most important thing. I think now, like, don't you agree that we try to change and mold ourselves to fit what other people think that we need to be? Be who you are. You have an authentic voice. Be that voice. Be who you are. And I think that's the most important thing.
That's beautiful. We need to hear that more.
I think we do. I think that we so try to change, like, what we wear or what we look like or what we sound like. Be who you are and make that the best version of yourself.
And so when you're in college and now you're on Broadway, how do you even balance that? Because Broadway is a beast.
It is a beast. It's a grind too. I don't think people understand. So today I'm going to see Mandy Gonzalez in Sunset Boulevard. I already saw Idina Menzel in Redwood. It is a grind. 8 shows a week is a grind, not only physically, mentally. It's just exhausting. So people don't really quite understand that. It's like, oh, it's fun. It's acting. It's singing. Oh my gosh, that must be so fun. It's actually the most exhausting job you could ever imagine. Physically, what you have to do to prepare your voice, scales, breathing, physically warming up. Singers are athletes. I always say this. We need visual, we need breath, we need physical, we need all of those things in order to do what we need to do. Derek Jeter doesn't just go out and, okay, here we go. He needs all of those things. We need all those things as singers. So it happens from the moment we wake up, what we put in our body, what we eat, how we warm up our bodies, all of those things. Broadway singers live like monks. It's so true. We can't go out at night. We can't talk. It's like all of these things. So people don't really quite understand what Broadway singers have to go through day in and day out to do what we do 8 days a week.
So how long was that run of a show? How long is usually a Broadway run? Does it just depend?
You can stay 6 months. You can stay 3 years. I know somebody in Phantom of the Opera. I know people who have stayed like 10, 15 years. You can stay that long. You can finance your kid through college if you want to. I mean, some people get bored. I wrote an entire book called Making It on Broadway, Actors' Tales of Climbing to the Top, which has actually sold 10,000 copies. So I'm also an author.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a while ago. But talking about, how the process that actors go through, how you can win a Tony Award and then 6 months later, you're working as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle at a kid's bar mitzvah party to pay the bills because people don't remember, people don't remember who you were 6 months ago. What we do as actors is a grind. You can win a Tony Award and then 6 months later, you have to audition for the next job. It's really, truly a grind. It is. And Broadway actors are war horses. And I so appreciate the work that we do as actors at Broadway.
And other than that show that you did, what is another favorite role that you were in?
I absolutely loved doing Cats. I was Grisabella in the Broadway National Tour of Cats. I played Grisabella. Midnight, not a sound from the pave. Did you ever see Cats?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so it's a lot of furry felines walking around on stage. The whole show doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but there is memory from Cats. And the whole show is a lot of cats running around, and it's beautiful. But the song Memory is just the most beautiful song about remembering what it's like to be beautiful and have the world stop for a minute and remembering what it feels like, what happiness was. Let the memory live again. And I think we all can just pause and remember what it's like to have the world be beautiful. And it's just that moment where you pause in that show and it just everything kind of stops. And I loved that moment because it was just that pause. And his music is so beautiful at that moment. And I loved that moment in the show. It was I was only on stage for 26 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But still.
That song is the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful songs I've ever sung in a musical.
And when it comes to working in theater, I mean, I think even Denzel Washington was talking about how theater work is one of the most essential parts of acting. Like you can act on a camera and on TV and in film, but doing live theater, like that is true passion and talent.
Well, because something can always go wrong in live theater. So, for example, in Les Miserables, there's a turntable that doesn't stop moving. But then sometimes it does stop moving. So, for example, the turntable the turntable goes and people are used to the turntable stop moving. Well, in one show, we were in St. Louis and I'm singing my character of Cosette. There's a moment where the turntable stops moving and she sings, "How strange, this feeling that my life's begun at last, this change, can people really fall in love so fast?" Well, at this particular show, the turntable did not stop moving. So I'm running and I'm doing my how strange. The turntable doesn't stop. So I'm how strange. So I just start doing this like 19th century aerobics with the turntable and I'm just how strange. So I just start kind of running in place. This feeling that my life's begun at last. And I just start running in place. So then the dad, my father, Jean Valjean, comes out and he starts running in place doing this 19th century aerobics. When I tell you that the turntable stopped, didn't stop moving, it's supposed to stop, 15 minutes this went on, that the turntable, we were jogging, that the turntable, 15 minutes.
Wait, so I'm not too familiar. You couldn't get off?
No.
Oh, wait, what?
So then we look to the sides. The entire cast in the wings is like this.
Yeah, like.
Oh my gosh. We're jumping. At this point, we're jumping. The turntable is not stopping. We are jumping like jump. I mean, the stuff that goes on in a Broadway stage, you would not believe. And the audience has no idea at this point that the turntable is not stopping moving. We're jumping at this point. Da da da, in my life, there is da 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 da, and just jumping with the turntable. It was crazy. 15 minutes this went on.
Oh my goodness.
15 minutes. And I thought for sure they're going to stop the show. Like, beep. The turntable's going. 15 minutes.
Oh my
I mean, I have so
goodness.
many stories of just this kind of stuff happening, of just Broadway shows. And in Cats, the tire didn't go up and I was stepping on it and it just didn't move because it's supposed to go up to the heavy side layer, up. It didn't go up.
And you're literally saying go up and it's not
I'm
going
going
up.
with my foot and it's not going up. Oh my gosh, just so many things.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and that's the magic of theater. That just things don't go right and you have to go with it. And I think that's what Denzel Washington's talking about, just the magic of that. Or just like somebody doesn't deliver a line in the exact same way and you have to improv it and it's funny. Or just like, what's your scene partner going to do? Because in film, you can do a million takes. But like, what's your scene partner going to do?
If the line
The
doesn't
live-
land, ew. Oh, that's so awkward.
Yep.
That's so awkward.
I mean, I literally remember putting my foot on the tire and
Yeah.
it started to move. And I was like, wait a minute, what's happening? It's and then it stopped and my foot's like on the tire. I was like, well, the audience is surely going to love this right now. The illusion of the tire is like completely.
And your brain's just
Yeah, my brain's like,
ventilating.
oh. Yeah, I mean, just stuff like that. It just makes it kind of fun.
So nationwide tours on shows and
Yep.
being on the road. What is that? Is that plane life? Is that bus life? What is that? Both?
I was lucky that I did national tours that were equity. But if you're in a non-equity tour and that's how you start, you're going to do buses around the
Wow.
world, and you're going to be in a bus with other people. And I have all those kinds of stories in my book, but like, yeah, you're going to be, when you first start out, you're going to be in a bus lying down next to another person, and it's just, that's part of it. It's, you're roughing it for a little bit, and that's okay. I mean, you're like, I love it. This
I
is
mean,
my
you love what you do. Yeah, you're on the way to do what you love.
Yeah.
So then, when did the transition from being in New York City to Florida happen for you?
So I had my daughter, and I was living in Manhattan doing a show called I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change, which was the longest running off-Broadway musical at the time.
Wow, congrats.
And I kind of, I got married and had my daughter, and I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to live in New York having a child. And I was going back, and I was living in Jersey City at the time. And, she was learning how to walk in an apartment building, like walking in the lobby, like, and the neighbors were like, can you not have this as a play area? At that point, I kind of knew. And I got a teaching job in Florida. So that was kind of like the rest is history. I started building up my practice there. And someone said to me, you should start a TikTok. Someone might like what you do. And I went, no, a TikTok? No one's going to like what I do. Really? That was literally it. Someone said to me, you should start a TikTok. And I went, you got to be kidding me. 3.7 million followers later. I kid you not. So it was my student. Her name is Tori Vagassi. Have you ever heard that name? She was on America's Got Talent. She was one of the 25 top finalists on America's Got Talent. She was one of my students. And she said, you should start a TikTok. I'm like, and then 3.7 million followers later.
When was that?
It was about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. My husband's going 4 or 5. Yeah, 5 years ago. She said, you should start a TikTok. And I was like, no one's going to listen to. And I just started small. I started with, filming myself, filming in my studio, filming just content, and it just started growing and growing and growing and growing. But I remember laughing at her going, no one's going to listen to what I have to say.
And then your students, we see them often in your videos, and it's such a vulnerable thing using your voice for some people. I don't know why. It's like, it's so intimidating and scary if you're not used to performing, if it's your first class or.
It is. But, I kept doing it. I think the thing is with social media, you have to find your niche. You have to find what you're good at, and it might take a while. That's why I always encourage people, just keep experimenting, keep workshopping, keep trying to find what you're good at, because you will. And then when you find it, do it. Just keep creating content. Because I get asked that a lot. Just keep creating.
And then what's fun is that you were able to. Have you been doing this for a long time? Your raise, your like.
Okay,
how did that come about?
So I have been doing raise your for a while. Not raise your but the ah. So I've been doing for a while. The for a while. So that's actually just a vocal technique that I've been doing for a while. But the raise your do you know how that actually got? So that started at the Texas Thespian Conference, which is actually one of the largest musical theater conferences in the country. So that happened in Texas in November. And it's one of the largest conferences in the country. It's a musical theater conference, and it happened in November. And I taught it, and it was a girl in these conferences that I teach at, these classes, is called How to Belt Like a Broadway Star. And there's about 300 students in the class. So when I walk into these classes and I just see 300 students sitting there. So you can imagine getting up to sing in one of these classes is a very nerve-wracking experience for these students. So a girl got up to sing. Her name is Athena. Wonderful voice. And she got up to sing the song, I'd Rather Be Me, from Mean Girls. Do you know the song? So it goes, raise your right finger and suddenly swear. You know it? Raise your right finger and suddenly swear. So, Crystal, I'm going to ask you to sing it. You going to do it for me? Go ahead.
Raise
your right
finger. And,
okay, yes. So go right.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You feel how that's kind of tight?
Mhm.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So what happened is she was in front of a whole bunch of people. And when we do feel that?
Uh-huh.
Our body goes into a fight or flight response. What happens is we just tighten up and we go So what I had her do in the moment was drop her mouth and go, raise your ya. So go ahead and go ya.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And do you see how that just drops and opens your mouth within a second? So the ya, what that does is just drop and open your mouth. Ya. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Raise your ya. Go ahead.
Raise your ya.
Crazy, right? She's in shock.
This happened so quick. I didn't expect to actually do it.
Because the ya, I know, you're in shock.
Well, because I've seen you do it so many times, so now doing it is so funny.
It's so crazy, right? So the ya just drops your mouth, Crystal. But to raise your ya.
Raise your ya.
You just got scared. Ya.
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 Raise your ya. Now do it with the point so I add the physical. Raise your ya.
Raise your ya. Broadway. Here I come.
Broadway. So you have to add the physical. Because
That's so odd.
what the physical does is trick your body into just opening and dropping, right? Because if we just go, raise your ya, it doesn't really do it. Raise your ya. It drops everything. So within 30 seconds, what happened was we released, opened, dropped, and the ya was born. And her face within the second just went, and she was like, oh, I didn't realize. Because what I did was assess and reassess and got her to just drop and open her mouth. And that's what happened. And she was shocked. Everybody was shocked, and everyone just jumped up and applauded. And there it was.
And that gives everyone a glimmer of hope. Because if you can
Exactly.
see that, you're like, I just a little raise the ya, I could do too.
Exactly. And then what happened was just overnight, within one day, the video got 10 million views. And then the video just started getting all these edits. And then we knew it was something. I mean, more than any other video that I have ever had in terms of the edits, and then the basketball teams sharing it, and then everybody doing these skits. It was just so overwhelmingly incredible, the responses. And I was so touched, and I was so happy that people were getting so touched, and the joy of music was just spreading. That's what I was, and that the raise your ya was becoming sort of an anthem for people in a way that I had not anticipated, in a way that it was cheering people up, and it was serving as a way to make your bad mood better. Or if you're feeling sad, you can raise your ya. Or if you're in a bad mood, you can raise your ya. Or if you're having a bad day, it's okay. You can raise your ya. That was so fun, the way people were just taking this and running with it. And the sports teams, I mean, yesterday, the Brooklyn Nets, there was sportscaster was like, well, we're in the fifth and we're doing this and raise your ya. I was like, it's still going. And it's April. That a meme has lasted this long, and it is April, is a little crazy, Crystal.
I mean, it's what you said. It became this new thing. It became like a reinforcement for us,
Yeah.
which is so fun. It's so cool that interesting, just lighting in a bottle moment
Yeah.
blew up like that. And also because you've been acting and singing and on Broadway, even playing other people for your whole life. But now the moment that everyone
Yes.
is celebrating you is because of just you doing what you do.
What I do. And it's funny because people sometimes don't even know my name.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh my God, you're Razor, yeah." I'm like, "Hi, I'm Jodie."
Yeah.
But yeah, sure, and that's okay, because it's associated with something positive. So I'm okay with that.
Yes.
I'm like, you know what? I'll be your Razor, yeah, girl. I'm Jodie too. But if I'm Razor, yeah, that's fine because it's associated with something really positive. So I don't necessarily think it's just a flash in the pan. I think it's something positive that's going to endure.
And they also know what you do and your talent.
Yeah, because it's associated with something that's permanent, because my lasting impression in the business is Broadway, and even people around when I've been here this week are like, "Oh my gosh, I remember you from Broadway and Les Mis and Cats and this and that." So I feel like that's my impression more, mixed in with the yeah. So it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a vocal technique.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a meme. It's a vocal technique that you just did, and you sounded amazing, by the way. So we know it works.
You're so silly. Thank you. No, it's so cool to see what's happening from that.
Yeah.
Going to the techniques that you teach people, you said that your parents were tone deaf. Does that really matter? Can someone tone deaf learn how to sing?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Especially with this. I mean, it was funny because do you know Speedy? Have you ever seen that? He went to Mongolia, and this woman was like, meow, and he went, "Oh, Razor, yeah. And I went, this is insane. Yeah. And he did it, and it worked. So it's absolutely, I think that somebody tone deaf can absolutely learn how to sing. I don't want to teach them, but
it's work.
It's work. And I feel like somebody who's skilled at that can absolutely do it. I don't feel like but there are people incredibly skilled people who can teach tone deaf people how to sing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I teach people who are skilled. I'm not the person who can teach someone tone deaf to sing. But I do teach people, and I fully admit that on my on my website, but I do teach people to sing. And I have an amazing voice program online that I teach people to sing. Tone deaf people, I don't, but I know that there are people who do that. It's just not my expertise.
It must be so interesting as a vocal coach to see performances on TV or see live performances or know when someone's lip syncing or not. What is the Super Bowl? Like at Super Bowls, you can always tell or what's going on there.
Oh, I can tell when someone's lip syncing for sure. I can tell. But I love watching people's mouths. I love watching people when they do vowels, and I love watching like what's happening because I love studying that. Especially with the ya, because I can watch like I'm watching the mouth and watching all that kind of stuff. I love watching. And now you'll be able to see and like, what's happening with the mouth? Is she raising her ya? Now you're going to watch.
Is it being raised
Crystal.
or not?
Is it being raised?
Or
Is
not
it being raised? Yeah, you'll be watching.
Who would be a dream artist to work with their vocal technique?
Kelly Clarkson. I love her. I was on the show yes, I was on Skype. So my dream is to go back and see her in person and work with her because I love her so much. Whitney Houston in a past life.
Yes.
Her voice, her clarity, her tone, her mix, her belt, and Aretha Franklin.
Wow.
Those are my three.
Those are good ones. There was a conversation on TikTok about Benson Boone's voice.
I was just talking about him because I love his physicality as an artist because he used to be a diver. So he was a diver before he was a singer, and he had only taken voice for a year. So he combined the physical with his voice. And I find that the two of those things so impressive that he used his skills as a diver and then his singing skills and combine the two.
But
So
people are worried. You didn't see that conversation. They're
oh,
worried about his vocals, if they're going to last long. What do you think about
I don't
that?
know. I think he's very skilled as a vocalist. I wouldn't be worried about it. He uses his range to the best of his ability, and then he's combining the physical. I think he's an incredible artist. I don't know. I like the height he has in his voice. I like how he uses his upper range and his falsetto really well. I think he's great.
Have you been blown away by a live performance
His
or anyone's?
his
Oh,
specifically him. But I always find Kelly Clarkson's live performance, the way she utilizes her high belt and her mix perfectly.
That's
I
her
love
girl.
her. I'm obsessed with her.
Oh yes. And so you are still doing your lessons. You're still on
I
TikTok.
still
You're
teach.
gonna keep going.
Yeah,
at
I
it.
still teach online on TikTok. I've been traveling. Some new projects in the works. So I just love keeping what I'm doing, inspiring others, and keep on teaching and just keep on the path that I'm doing. I love it, love it, love it.
And how's your daughter? Does she want to follow in your footsteps?
No.
That's so odd.
She
She's like the best
is-
vocal coach ever. And
She is no, it's funny because she's a volleyball player. She loves volleyball. She wants to go on the volleyball path, and I'm happy about that.
right.
I think that she needs to continue volleyball. I'll continue singing, and then I'll just come watch her play volleyball. And she gets I get the pins on the back. I get pinned, and that's all good. I will watch her play volleyball, and I'll sing. And I love that we do different things.
That's so fair. And do you plan on getting back into Broadway now that she's getting a little older, or maybe?
Yes, I would like to. So all those producers watching, yes, I would love to return back to Broadway. I miss it, and I want to, like a short-term contract or something. I would love to be back on Broadway eventually.
Yeah. Well, it was so interesting hearing your story. You're really inspiring. I want to be a mom one day too, and hearing that, I see moms in New York. I'm just like, how do you do it here? And now that your daughter's growing up, and you're even exceeding everyone's ideas
means
of
so much to
what
me.
success is. So I just want to say congratulations. Thank you for being someone to look up to, and I'm praying and all the blessings to you to get back on Broadway, because how cool and full circle would that be?
That means that you just brought me to tears. Thank you. That's the dream. I did it for a while, and I went and had a baby, and did Florida, because that's what you do when you go and have a child and build up a business, and hopefully maybe that dream will come true again, that I'll go back to my roots, and thank you for and it's a wonderful way to have a child. And I just met with a Broadway friend of mine, and she said to me, I look up to you, and it's wonderful to watch you have kids. And that's what I want to do now. And you go have kids, because there's nothing more rewarding than having a child and watching your kids grow up. And you can always go back to it, but there's nothing like having a child and bringing up a child and the ups and downs of that. The ups and downs of balancing a career and having a kid, and going through that, and going through did I fail? Did I give it all up? And going through the trials and tribulations of that, really, there were times that I felt like a failure. There are times that I fell on my feet, and there are times that I struggled. But within the failures, there's great rewards. And I think you have to fail to get back up on your feet and say, I did this, and I would never succeed now if I hadn't failed. And I think that there's a great lesson in that, because you cannot succeed unless you fail.
And I mean, just even hearing that story and seeing now, despite you leaving Broadway, I mean, you still were able to be as bright of a star, even probably more than even Broadway stars are, on your own, just being yourself.
Yeah, I just think that you learn a lot about yourself when you go through something, and you you do fail and you pick yourself back up. And I have always said, you stay in your lane, you don't listen to the negativity, because there is a lot of negativity online. There's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of haters. But you stay in your lane and you do your thing. And I'm sure you experienced that being an online presence. You stay in your lane and you do your thing. You don't listen to the negativity. And sorry, that just kind of brought me to tears because there's a lot of it. And I get a lot of DMs and a lot of people. But you stay in your lane and you do your thing, and you don't listen to the negativity, and you don't listen to the hate, and you do your thing and you believe in yourself, and that'll keep you and propel you forward. It really will. And you raise your yeah, and you don't listen, and you stay in your lane and you think about the positivity, and that will propel you forward more than anything else. Truly, truly.
How does it feel right now to be Jodie Langel?
Some days great, but most days great.
Yes.
Most days great. I feel so loved, and I get so much online love and positivity, and it feels great. It really does feel great. I have so many fans that support me of the work that I do, and the free. I have so many free online tools for everybody to enjoy singing and learn from me, and that's what I love giving out, and I'm going to continue doing that.
Yes. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been, my parents are huge Z100 Elvis Duran fans and Z100 fans, and it means so much for me to have me here today and to talk to you this afternoon. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Oh man, it's an honor. We're happy to have you back home, and this is just so exciting to watch everything's happening with you, your energy, your light, your love. Thank you so much, Jodie. We can't wait to have you back soon.
You have to do a last raise your ya for me. Are you ready?
Why don't we do it for socials? Is that cool?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to do it for socials and make sure you on everything.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get so emotional. It's just talking about all that stuff. It just really brings it out.
Yeah, and I feel that. And hearing your story, I'm in that similar realm where, okay, I love New York, but my family's in California. And so I want to have kids like you. And
it's okay to take that time. It really honestly is. It doesn't go away.
There's so many people that look up to you for that.
It doesn't go away. And there are times when you're struggling. You're like, am I sacrificing my career? And you're not. It'll always come back. Yeah. Or oh, I'm 100 pounds right now with this baby, and it's okay. It is okay.
What about to the people that just support you and always leave you positive, loving comments?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for supporting me and loving me and being fans, and there's only more to come, and there's only more content and more singing and more raise your ya moments and more amazing coaching. So stay tuned, and thank you.
Always inside of our Z100 Artist Interview Lounge, presented by Celsius, Jodie Langel.
Yay!
Thank you.